I will say I've always been envious of people who, from a young age, have known exactly what they wanted to do. Growing up, it's not that I didn't want to make movies, I just didn't know that was a possible thing. And it wasn't until I was like well into my 20s that I even could imagine a world where I was writing screenplays or making films. I worked in print media, I worked for magazines, I was a writer at the Toronto Star. I moved on to work at Much Music in the CBC as a producer. It was in 2008 when I wrote my first script. I had written some samples of TV shows because I had this idea that I wanted to get into a TV staff writing room. And it was right around the time of the writer's strike in 2008. I got those samples into the hands of a manager and he responded to the material. He was like, there's a writer's strike going on. Don't try to write TV. Why don't you write a feature? I wrote my first script in about 6 weeks. It looked like it was going to get made at Fox Searchlight, which was crazy. And then it fell apart the way that many other scripts over the ensuing, I guess it's been 16 years now, have. For the longest time, I only wanted to be a screenwriter, but through the process of setting up a couple films that I'd written and meeting with directors and going through the process of trying to tailor things to the visions of people who maybe I was not seeing eye to eye with completely creatively, like not in an antagonistic way, but just any director who's taking on material that someone else has generated, they're going to have their own take on it, and that's natural. I didn't always want their take on it, and Werther was one of those scripts I wrote 12 years ago, and it lived many lives over these 12 years where other directors were attached, other actors were attached. It was set up at different studios, streamers over the years. During that time, I started directing shorts and music videos and commercials and sort of built up enough of, or maybe not quite enough of a base, but enough to feel confident taking the script to Wildling Pictures and saying, I'm going to direct this movie. Let's figure out how to make that happen. And they did, and we did, and we made this wonderful movie. Young Werther is an adaptation of a 250-year-old novel, The Sorrows of Young Werther by Goethe. It's actually the 250th anniversary of the book this year. So our film, Young Werther, is a contemporary adaptation of the story. And at its heart, it's like a young guy and a young girl fall in love. She's engaged to an older man, but instead of it being this terrible thing, they all become sort of like awkward best friends. It's a movie about joy and lust and love and heartbreak and friendship and the weird massive Venn diagram of where all those things intersect and get messy. Making the movie was the most fun thing in the world, like prepping and scouting and actually, being on set and shooting. I love being on set. I love the editing process. When I'm hiring keys or when I'm talking to actors, like I'm trying to get a sense of who they are as a person, not just how apt they are as a technician or an artist or what they bring in terms of performance or tonality. It's like, are they going to be a good person? Is this going to be an enjoyable experience? It's such a rare, lucky thing. I understand deeply how lucky it is to be able to make a film. I just wanted it to be as positive, and I just wanted it to be a great experience. Selfishly for me, I wanted to have a great time, but I wanted everyone to have a great time because then it's just better. It's more fun. What's more fun in the world than getting to make a movie? My one grandfather shoveled coal into the belly of a factory after going to war. My other grandfather was away 10 months of the year fishing. Their lives were difficult and they had great humor about it and were wonderful to the people around them. It's we get to make a movie. Let's have fun. Let's really appreciate this experience.